The Kaltrix scout ship Devouring Light dropped out of slipspace 3 light hours from Sol, and Fleet Commander Yth'rassa felt the silence before her sensors confirmed it. No chatter, no pings, no entertainment broadcasts, no military channels, no civilian noise bleeding into the void the way it always had for the last 40 years of contact. Earth's system, once the loudest in this quadrant of space, had gone utterly, unnervingly quiet. "Confirm sensor status," she ordered. Her communications officer, a young Kaltrix named Yth'rassa, tapped at the console with trembling claws. "Confirmed, Commander. 0 broadcasts. 0. Even their old satellite noise is gone." Yth'rassa had fought 3 campaigns against the humans. She had lost 2 of them. And if there was one thing every surviving officer in the Coalition fleet had learned to fear, it wasn't human weapons or human ships, or even their maddening refusal to surrender when the odds said they should have. It was this: the silence. 3 times in recorded history, human worlds had gone dark before a battle. 3 times, whatever came after had ended with entire Coalition fleets reduced to drifting wreckage. "Signal the home fleet," Yth'rassa said, and her voice did not waver, though something cold moved through her chest. "Tell them Earth has gone silent. Tell them to prepare for total war." 400 million miles away, in a bunker carved into the granite beneath the Colorado Rockies, Dr. Amanda Foster stood before a wall of monitors and watched the last commercial satellite feed blink out on schedule. "That's the final one," said the technician beside her. "We are officially off the grid, ma'am. Nothing broadcasting from Earth. Nothing." Amanda didn't smile. There wasn't room for it yet. 3 years of work had led to this moment. 3 years since the Kaltrix Coalition had first arrived in human space with promises of peaceful trade that curdled, within 18 months, into an ultimatum: submit or be cataloged as a resource world like a dozen species before them. Humanity had said no. It had cost them 2 orbital cities, a colony on Mars, glassed to slag in an afternoon, 11 million dead in the first strikes alone. But it had also taught them something the Coalition never expected: that humans did not fight fair, and they did not fight scared, and worst of all, they learned faster than any species the Coalition had ever cataloged. "General Reeves is ready for you," the technician said. Amanda walked the long corridor to the command center, past rows of engineers and physicists who hadn't slept in days, past soldiers who moved with the tight, controlled urgency of people who knew exactly what was coming and were terrified of it anyway. At the end of the hall, General Jack Reeves stood over a holographic display of the solar system, his jaw set in the particular way it got before he said something he didn't want to say. "Talk to me, Doctor," he said. "The array is charged," Amanda said. "All 9 relay stations, full power, synchronized to the microsecond. If the models hold, we get 1 shot. 1. And if the models don't hold, then we've just spent every erg of power this planet can generate on a very expensive light show. And the Kaltrix glass what's left of Earth before dinner." Reeves exhaled slowly. On the display, red icons bloomed across the outer system. Coalition scout vessels, dozens of them, converging towards Sol like sharks smelling blood in dark water. Behind them, further out, sensor ghosts marked something far larger: the home fleet. 200 capital ships, according to the last intelligence pulled from a captured Kaltrix officer before he died, refusing to say another word. "They know what our silence means," Amanda said quietly. "They've learned to fear it. Every time we've gone dark, we've hit them with something they didn't understand until it was already killing them. And this time, Amanda said, we're not hitting them with something new. We're hitting them with something old. Something they should have recognized 3 campaigns ago, if they'd been paying attention to the right history books." Commander Yth'rassa's fleet crossed the outer marker at 0600 Earth Standard, 200 warships in a formation built to overwhelm, to annihilate, to end a war that had cost the Coalition more ships and more prestige than any single human world had any right to cost them. "Still no signal," Yth'rassa reported, and this time there was real fear in her voice. "Commander, the silence isn't defensive. It's not sensor jamming. It's total, like the planet stopped existing." Yth'rassa stared at the tactical display, at Earth sitting there blue and quiet and utterly still, and felt the old dread crawl up her spine. 3 times the silence had come before the storm. She had told herself this time would be different, that the humans were finally beaten down, resource-starved, out of tricks. She had told herself a lot of things. All ships, she signaled. Weapons hot. Do not. The order died in her throat as every screen on the bridge went white. It wasn't a weapon in any sense the Coalition cataloged. It was a signal, an impossibly powerful, perfectly synchronized burst of radio energy, broadcast simultaneously from 9 points across the Earth and amplified through a chain of relay satellites that had spent 3 years, silently, building toward this single moment. It didn't punch through hulls. It didn't need to. It hit every Kaltrix neural interface in the fleet at once, every targeting computer, every automated defense grid built on technology the humans had studied, reverse-engineered, and quietly perfected during 40 years of watching their enemy fight. 200 ships worth of systems didn't crash. They obeyed. For 4 catastrophic seconds, weapons fired on friendly hulls, shields dropped on command, engines redlined into self-destruction. Because for 4 seconds, humanity's silence had been the sound of them speaking directly into the Coalition's own machines, in a language stolen fair and square from the enemy's own broadcasts. When the light cleared, 60 Kaltrix warships were debris. The rest were dead in space, screaming distress calls into a silence that, for the first time in the war, belonged entirely to Earth. In the Colorado bunker, the room erupted, not into celebration, not yet, but into the frantic, disciplined motion of people watching a plan actually work. Confirmed hits across the formation, the technician shouted. Commander Reeves, we have them. We have them cold. Amanda Foster stood very still, watching the display, watching the red icons stutter and die and drift. She thought of the 11 million. She thought of Mars, and the orbital cities, and every name on the wall upstairs that this moment could never bring back. Doctor, Reeves said gently. They thought our silence meant we were about to destroy them, Amanda said. They just didn't understand that the silence was never the threat. She looked up at him, and for the first time in 3 years, she let herself smile. We were, she said. The whole time. Outside, for the first time since the war began, the sky over Colorado was quiet and free.